But more than a dozen patrol cars in his fleet will have to be replaced. They're only a few years old. That decision going to cost taxpayers thousands.
If you spent any time in Mopar circles, you've probably heard of the dreaded Hemi tick. It's that annoying noise that usually means your lifters or valves are on their way out. Some owners start hearing it before they even hit 50,000 miles. And in worst cases, the engines
what I found on these camshafts here, you can see that it's completely eaten through here, causing this groove from the roller down below. I don't think it's supposed to do that. You can see this here is a ringland failure where this oil control ring would normally sit here.
Isn't the only automaker going through tough times, but it is one that has lost significant market share to its rivals over the last 3 years. In September, several officers of Stellantis National Dealer Council sent an open letter to the company accusing management of being behind the troubles. Now, just like the Pentar, the Hemi engines are caught up in another class action loss lawsuit, with angry customers demanding accountability. And finally, we have the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, a family-friendly minivan
engine from Dodge. It's naturally aspirated, making 485 horsepower, 475 foot-pounds of torque at the crank. It has a 4-second 0 to 60 and does the quarter mile in 11 seconds.
And even more alarming, some have caught fire while parked. Stellantis issued a major recall. But here's the kicker. Some Pacificas are still catching fire even after this so-called recall fix. If you own one, you might want to think twice before parking it in your garage. If you thought the engine problems were bad, wait until you hear what's happening in court. Stellantis is drowning in lawsuits right now, and it's not just a handful of angry customers, it's millions of vehicle owners across the country demanding answers. The legal battles cover some of the company's most popular models, from the Dodge Charger and Jeep Grand Cherokee to the Chrysler Pacifica. Let's break it down. You are right. Chris, Independence attorney Ken M. Lan, filed the lawsuit on behalf of. First up is the Pentar class action lawsuit, which was filed in multiple states in 2022 and affects vehicles with a 3.6-liter Pentar V6 engine
maker going through tough times, but it is one that has lost significant market share to its rivals over the last 3 years. In September, several officers of Stellantis' National Dealer Council sent an open letter to the company, accusing management of being behind the troubles.
Owners for years. People have been reporting this problem only to be told by dealerships that it's normal or that there's no official fix. But now, with so many people experiencing premature engine failures and costly repairs, the courts are getting involved. If the lawsuit succeeds, Stellantis could be forced to compensate affected owners, something they've been trying to avoid. Then there's the Hemi class action lawsuit, which might be even worse. This one targets the 5.7 and 6.4-liter Hemi FIV8 engines, infamous for the dreaded Hemi tick that signals lifter and valve failures. The lawsuit accuses FCA Stellantis of hiding these design flaws for over a decade. Yep, you heard that right. Since 2008,
you are right, Chris. Independence attorney Ken McLean filed the lawsuit.
Without fixing the root problem, some owners have now reported complete engine failures at just 40,000 miles, leaving them with massive repair bills. Now Stellantis is facing some serious heat for what many consider to be a cover-up, and if that wasn't enough, the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid has its own set of legal troubles. Stellantis had to recall thousands of Pacifica Hybrids because they could catch fire even when parked and turned off. But even after the recall, some minivans are still going up in flames, leaving owners frustrated and terrified. And on top of that, some Pacificas have a nasty habit of shutting down at high speeds, which is obviously a huge safety risk. And here's the cherry on top. There's even a lawsuit claiming Stellantis made legal robocalls to potential buyers about the Pacifica Hybrid, It's almost like they can't catch a break when it comes to car problems. Nothing speaks louder than the real experiences from actual owners. While Stellantis might argue that these engine issues aren't as widespread as they seem, the stories coming from drivers tell a very different tale. If you think these lawsuits and recalls are just pee, listen to what these frustrated and sometimes downright scared owners have gone through. Obviously, it's defective. The leather dash inside Richard Jones' high-end Jeep Grand Cherokee started bubbling 2 months ago. No warranty, no recall, but plenty of money. One Jeep SRT owner was hit with a massive repair bill when their 6.4-liter Hemi engine failed at just 46,000 miles. The lifters gave out, despite the fact that they had kept up with all the scheduled maintenance.
Obviously, it's defective.
The leather dash inside Richard Jones' high-end Jeep Grand Cherokee started bubbling 2 months ago. No warranty, no recall, but plenty
of a brand new vehicle. Imagine paying that much money for a powerful performance SUV, only to have the engine fail so early. And then there's the case of a Chrysler Pacifica hybrid owner who had the absolute nightmare experience. Their minivan shut down in the middle of a highway while driving at 75 miles per hour with their kids in the back picture. That for a second, you're cruising along thinking everything is fine, and suddenly your car loses power with zero warning. This isn't just an inconvenience. It's a life-threatening safety hazard. Of course, not everyone has had issues. One longtime Dodge and Jeep owner swears by the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6, saying they've had 4 different vehicles with this engine and never had a single problem, but even they admit that plenty of other people haven't been so lucky. It seems like some engines are rock solid, while others are ticking time bombs. If you were Stellantis CEO right now, you'd probably be sweating bullets. Engine failures, lawsuits, and recalls are bad enough on their own. But when you add in the fact that the entire auto industry is shifting toward electric vehicles, things could get even worse. Stellantis is already facing pressure to move away from gas-powered cars and prove that it can compete in the EV market. But here's the problem. How can they convince customers to trust their new technology when they can't even keep their gas-powered engines running reliably if people lose faith in Stellantis? Now, why would they ever take a chance on their future electric vehicles? And let's talk money, because these lawsuits could cost Stellantis billions, not just in legal settlements, but also in reputation damage and lost customers. Fixing all of these engine problems aren't cheap. And if the company is forced to offer buybacks, lifetime warranties, or reimbursements for expensive repairs, it could get very expensive very fast. But what's even worse is losing customer loyalty. Once people feel burned by a brand, they don't come back. That's how you go from being a top-selling automaker to struggling to stay relevant in just a few years. So what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.